Hi everybody, I'm Brandon Roper.
And I'm Otis Roper.
And together we are still... Pretty sure that's copyrighted. But we are the SuperRoperBros.
Indeed.
Hi everybody. So we're back and we went and watched Horizon.
An American saga.
These people think that if they're tough enough, smart enough, and mean enough, all this will be there someday. There's no army of this earth that's going to stop those wagons coming, little as they're wanted.
Stars Kevin Costner. It has a crazy huge cast of people. Jenna Malone, Sam Worthington, Wasa Chief, Luke Wilson, Isabel Furman, Danny Houston,
What do you mean?
Georgia McPhail, Tatanka Means, Owen Crossshoe, Giovanna Ribisi, John Beavers. I mean, it has a massive cast, and I haven't even gone through everybody like that's in there. That's like a named person.
Get in there, quick. Quick. Come on.
It's all right. I'm gonna be with Dad.
No.
Well, we talk about a film that is an event in itself. It is not just a normal film.
The cookie cutter stuff that has come out before, people often say, hey, we wish there was something different. Well, here you go, everybody. This is something different.
Yeah, so this is the thing about this. First of all, if you haven't heard of it, you don't know what it is, it's a Western put out by the only guy really out there still making Westerns today, which is Kevin Costner.
Thank you, sir.
And Kevin Costner we've been down since Dancing with Wolves.
Shimane Tutanka Owachi.
Been down since freaking Field of Dreams. Kevin Costner is a guy who I think doesn't necessarily get a lot of credit for being in a lot of, really good movies where he gives really great performances. I like the movie 13 Days that he's in.
They're boxing us in with these rules of engagement. If you agree to them and one of our planes gets knocked down or one of the ships won't stop for inspection, the chiefs will have us by the balls and will force us to start shooting. They want a war, Jack, and they're arranging things to get one.
Before we go any further, the movie Mr. Brooks, Kevin Costner, that probably nobody saw, it's so good. It's a great film. Oh, please give it a shot. But Horizon was a film that I went into blind. I had no idea. And why? Let's be honest, this summer, movies have been a little bit
lackluster.
Nothing memorable. Nothing, not for real, for real. This film was a love for film's sake. The cinematography, real places. My brain could tell that was real water. Somebody really rode that horse like that. Somebody really. I'm telling you, just the stuntmen, the characters that you're gonna spend a lot of time with. And when I mean a lot of time, ain't no short shots in this film there, partner. How do you summarize the plot of this film?
It's hard. People keep coming west. That there's friction with Native Americans as a result of that. You've seen this movie before. You know what the story is. We know how it goes. But in this film, it is actually handled in more of a just kind of a matter-of-fact sort of way. Like, these people are coming, they're doing this, X, Y, and Z. The Native Americans see it like, hey, you're taking our crossing. You're making it so the game doesn't come back to this area. You guys are what's bringing the problem, so that's why we have to get rid of you. And you can see that there's like this conflict between the people. And here's what I like. It's from all their perspectives at once.
Yes. It wasn't just somebody telling somebody else, you're bad, you're wrong, you're evil, you're this, you're that. It was, hey, how these things happen. And when I tell you, when you get to the root source of it all,
yeah,
like this is what caused all this.
Yes, it's a very, very well done film, I think, and I'm just like, I mean, honestly, we can't really go over the general synopsis of the plot because the plot is thick. Okay, like not like the plot thickens. No, like it's a really dense bit of things that are happening in this movie. Yeah.
Sicker than Delta Burke swimming in a Guinness.
You and I are standing guard in one of the last great open spaces.
That looks like a promising place.
The place I might be able to see myself.
This film is not a studio creature. It is a film that was created by somebody who wanted to make a love letter to the American West and a love letter to classic American cinema.
I couldn't agree more. And it pays off in spades. I'm telling you, the opening shot had me just, this is going to be something special. The way that you can tell that everyone was on their game. There was nobody that was involved in this that had some kind of separate vision that didn't get told. Everybody got their say, and every point of view was explored. And we had a great time doing it. I brought my 10-year-old daughter in that theater, and she didn't fall asleep. She watched that whole movie.
I will say that, like, my biggest takeaway from it and what I liked about it is it's a huge ensemble cast full of very well-known people, and they all get their moments to shine.
Yes.
Michael Rooker gets his chance to really put on a performance. He does a great job in the film. And he's great in everything, but like just because it's longer and there's not as many cuts and all this other stuff, there's a real performance there that's actually developed. There's actually like real developed time that goes into what they're showing you. I mean, the way that you, the audience, react to them changes as well. Sienna Miller does a great job as, I mean, like everybody who's in it really, I can't think of a weak link.
Here's what I love, and I know a lot of people are probably going to be nitpicking about this one. The pacing of this movie is a slow pacing, and it's because you're going to get to know these characters. You're going to sit there and look at what they're dealing with, look at what they're struggling with. Some of them you're going to kind of, you're going to agree with. Some of them you're going to go like, yeah, you deserve what you got. Some of them you're going to look at and go, why won't you die? I don't like you at all. I'm so sick of you. And some of them you're going to be like, that you didn't deserve that.
Yeah, I think that the biggest takeaway, or not the biggest takeaway, but some of the things that I love about what they show you in the film is you're going to meet characters that are going to die. You're going to meet them, and then they're going to be gone. And you'll have to sit there as the audience and go, okay, now what do we do now from here? Because the big chunk of the people I spent some time with are gone.
See, when death has gravitas in a story, that means something.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, it's also like there's nobody in here who just gets offed that really doesn't have a backstory of some kind.
It's all heartfelt. When they go, you're like, hey, but you were the one that oh no.
Yes, and it's really like you can feel the connections between the characters are shown, and that's what the extra length of time is about. You know, I've recently watched a film series a television series, a miniseries on Paramount about the making of The Godfather. There was a 90-minute cut of The Godfather that cut out all the stuff from Italy. It cut out all the stuff about Michael and being gone. It was just not as good a film because you need that time to develop characters. So I know that people don't like length, but sometimes you got to have it. And I think that that's what gives the movie it's real depth there.
Well, here's what I say. When it comes to movies that have length now, there is enough stuff out there to go and get the popcorn munching. Doesn't mean anything films. Oh, fine. This film is going to be a classic. They're going to start showing this film in school, I guarantee you.
100%. I mean, I teach American history. I can say this. There's at least 6 or 7 things that I see in this film that I could use in my curriculum because it gives a good example of it. And it's a balanced example. It's not just like I hate when films do the cheap route where they're just like, the white people were just going out there just killing Indians. Don't get me wrong. The murder and slaughter and the genocide of Native Americans did happen. But it was not like it was just like, everybody going out there like, oh, there's a bunch of savages and stuff like that. It's more complex than that, as usually things are. And it's nice to see a film, not just, like I said, not take a balance, because, one side's right or one side's wrong, but just like, here's how they see it, here's how they see it. You, the audience, make your judgment.
Yeah, and what would you do different if you were there? That's where we get on the high horses, having 200 years of being able to look back and see what they should have done was, they ain't us, and we ain't them, and so give some grace. I love that it was a unbiased look from everybody's point of view. I really do appreciate that. And Kevin Costner, shout out to you for perfecting your craft. We've been down with you since Tatanka.
Tatanka.
Tonka.
Here. Tatanka.
Tatanka Kiaguialo.
Buff.
Tatanka Kiaguialo.
Buff. But like we've been there with you since there. Our dad was a big lover of westerns, and so it kind of rubbed off on us.
Yeah, I didn't like them when I was a kid, but as I got older, I realized that there's actually a lot of stuff going on in these. But the movie it's a very long film. If you're a casual movie, you don't really pay attention to stuff.
This ain't for you.
This is not going to be for you.
And you know what? I don't feel bad for it.
When you watch the film, you can see this is not a film that's had a lot of people messing about with it. A lot of people trying to shoehorn a bunch of crap in there that doesn't belong in the mirror. It's literally just this is kind of just a nice gumbo pot of what happened in American history.
What's this here you're cooking?
Yes.
That's kind of what this film is.
I know what you're thinking. It's supposed to be some kind of Western, and you SuperRoperBros are always talking about how they're supposed to be good, but is there any gunplay? Is there any gunfighting? Well, I want to let you know, partner.
There's plenty of gunfighting in the film. It's a lot less dramatic than because the tone of this movie is realism. So it doesn't have a lot of, Lee Van Cleef, lone samurai type gunfighters.
I think more Unforgiven than an Open Range. I think more along those lines when it comes to the gunfights. The gunfights they're brutal. The people that are in them, you care about. There is gunplay there, but it's not what you're thinking it's going to be. It's not the focus. It's there to tell a story.
Yes, I like the fact that the violence in this movie is all for a point, and none of it is done in a way where there's no weight that we feel because of it.
I'm just saying that's something you might want to keep in mind.
You think?
The violence in this movie has weight. It's not just there. It's there to tell a story.
Yeah, it's not Tombstone. Tombstone, which does have weight and gravitas, but come on, man. You talking about just out there just throwing lead and whatnot. I know somebody's gonna lose their junk. No, that's all 100%. I'm not saying that it is a film. But we're saying that as far as keeping the tone of realism that Horizon really wants to, it does that. There are some gunfights in there, but you don't exactly look forward to them if you care about the characters. You have basically a couple factions. You have the natives, you have the settlers, okay, that are heading out west, and then you have the American government. They're like the military.
Yeah, the Union soldiers. This takes place in 1863.
And so the Civil War is still going on.
Yeah, so everybody hasn't started pushing out west yet, but people kind of know what's coming.
And so you got these three factors going on there. Who's right? Who's wrong?
Yeah, you got
this thing.
You got
because the settlers are attacked, brings the military, which brings more death, which brings more retribution. This was great world building to really get me drawn into that. So when these characters end up having their lives in peril or have something going on, you understand. What's something that really stood out to you? Where was your favorite, like, couple scenes that you wouldn't mind sharing?
Well, I like there's a character in the movie there's an older brother and a younger brother. There's an older brother who's like basically the I can't even think of it, like Michael Corleone. The Michael Corleone who's he gets it. He's older. He's a little tougher, and he has a younger brother who's just Fredo and Sonny Corleone rolled into one. So he's angry, stupid, violent, and cruel. And I mean, they're both not the best people. They're kind of criminals. What I like about the characters, my favorite part about them was I saw the older brother struggling to basically be like, dude, you don't have to be like this. Like,
yes.
What's wrong with you? Like, you don't have to always be angry and violent. You don't have to always be crazy and murderous. Like, it's a job. Do a job. Stay focused. You make there be more problems than there needs to be. And that is the thing I liked. I liked seeing that dynamic. It was great. John Beavers is the guy's name. I really thought he did a great job.
My favorite scene, and one of the scenes that really stood out to me, was a no-named character who basically had a firearm that had been in disrepair, didn't know how to repair it, and died for it. This person, probably the last of their tribe in the area, looked like he was by himself, just gets killed because he doesn't have the ability to protect himself anymore. He can't find the resources. And you know, it wasn't somebody from some other place that ended up taking him out too.
Yeah.
So
the natives were in conflict with each other too, and they don't try to hide that, especially as white settlers encroach on their land and push them into each other. And so that is very, very much explained in the film too, which is really, I thought they did a fantastic job of that.
The more you know.
You use that much this year?
Haven't had much need of it yet.
Looks like we got ourselves a bad man right here.
What would you give this film, rating-wise? What would you give it?
Well, honestly, I thought it was a fantastic movie. I thought it had really good characters. I think it's what cinema is supposed to be. It's just storytelling, not audience tested, not a bunch of BS. So I give it a 5. I give it a solid 5.
Needless to say, I follow suit. 5 out of 5. I cannot wait for the second one of these. Kevin Costner, if you watching and you want to get together, you know, and play some music while we're at the premiere, I wouldn't mind doing that. You know, you have SuperRoperBros out. This movie is spectacular, and I cannot wait for the second part. So out of 1 out of 5 sweaty handkerchiefs that have been
sweaty, back crack, neck roll,
salt sweat in the Arizona sun,
with women with dirty lace on,
with graves that have laid the bodies of those who passed from dysentery because you never could beat the Oregon Trail.
Their knuckles are as dry as Danny Glover's lips in the color purple. What I say? Have I gone too far again?
I'm Otis Roper.
I'm also Brandon Roper, but
we're the SuperRoperBros.
Saying I'm dry as Danny Glover's neckline.
Danny Glover, please don't sing vengeance.
Just saying.
I've always loved it.
I love Danny Glover. I'm just saying it was.
I'm getting too old for this.
It was dry. It was dry.
And when I tell you that its plots and elements are the same thing that you see now, But here's what y'all want to know, and okay, those of you stuck with the review this long, you know, you're okay, that's all great and fine, but is there gunfights? Well, let me tell you, partner. There's gunfights.
Oh, shit.
That's exactly it.
I'm getting too old for this.